Join us every Monday before he decided he wanted to run for president of the United States. Donald Trump joins us every once in a while now, and he joins us from somewhere out in his empire. Mr. Trump, good morning to you.
Good morning.
There's a bit of good news for you today. A couple of polls out. You're once again the front runner considerably in the NBC News survey. You're at almost 30. Then you're followed by Ben Carson, Carly Fiorina, and Jeb Bush, Cruz, and Rubio. The headline here is that Carson has faded a bit since the debate on Thursday, and Fiorina is going up. Why do you think that is?
Well, I think that she's got a good line of pitter-patter, but when you listen for more than 5 minutes, you develop a tremendous headache. It's, if you've heard her, it's, very similar. It's the same line. I've heard those same lines, many times. And I think that will fade, but I think it'll really fade when people look at her business record. She drove Lucent into the ground, a company that she ran. She then drove a big company, Hewlett-Packard. She made a horrible transaction. I mean, that can happen, but she made a horrible purchase when she bought Compaq Computer and was forced to cut thousands, tens of thousands of jobs. In fact, they're still recovering from her disastrous tenure. They cut 25,000 jobs last week. It was on the front page of the Wall Street Journal. The company's never recovered. And so I think when people see what a horrible job she did as a business leader, then she ran for the Senate to Barbara Boxer. She was winning until they found out how bad she did in business, and frankly, she got wiped out and lost in a landslide. So I don't see it as being something that's going to last because her performance has been terrible.
Donald, when we look at what happens with this, after following this every time, people go up and people go down. They're probably not going to be a nominee until March.
Right.
You're somebody who's been in first place this whole time. Could you handle dropping? And would there be a comeback in you? Would you be able to handle that emotionally? Because for a guy that's been leading for so long, there might be some panic in your camp. Could that happen?
Well, I don't think panic is a word that I used, but sure, I'd like to stay on top. I have stayed on top. I've been very strong on that. I get by far the biggest crowds. We did 20,000 people the other day at the Dallas Arena where the Mavericks play. We did 31,000 people in Mobile, Alabama. It was unbelievable. And, we're getting crowds like nobody else is getting. But, it's possible that I'll drop. Hey, look, I'm self-funding my own campaign. I'm not taking money from lobbyists. I'm not taking money from special interests. I'm going to do what's right. If I don't make it, that's okay. I'll go back to having a good time and building a business and being with my family and my kids. But this is a shot, and I'll give it my best. And I think people respect that I'm not taking money from the special. Everybody else is, by the way. Every single person is. I'm not taking money from special interests.
Mr. Trump, one thing you've been able to do, because it's impossible to escape controversy when you're a candidate running for the presidency, but you've been able to turn that and use it to your advantage. Now, Dr. Ben Carson is facing some controversy now, and his campaign is refusing to back down after he said, I would not advocate that we put a Muslim in charge of this nation. This is what he had to say, and I'd love to see how you would say it differently.
Should a president's faith matter? Should your faith matter to voters?
Well, I guess it depends on what that faith is. If it's inconsistent with the values and principles of America, then of course it should matter. But if it fits within the realm of America and consistent with the Constitution, no problem.
So do you believe that Islam is consistent with the Constitution?
No, I don't. I do not. I would not advocate that we put a Muslim in charge of this nation. I absolutely would not agree with that.
Can Dr. Ben Carson recover from that statement?
Well, first of all, I've really gotten to like him. In fact, during that ridiculous debate, it was such a ridiculous debate, 3 hours and stupid questions. But during that debate, we were high-fiving each other. I mean, we were having actually a good time. But look, he's speaking his opinion. That's his opinion. And you're supposed to be, we talk about freedom of speech. He feels very strongly about it. I watched yesterday, some of his representatives talking, and he feels very strongly about it.
Sure. Let's talk a little bit about, you made a lot of headlines. A lot of people in the media were upset that during a town hall, you opened it up, said, I'm going to take a bunch of questions. The first questioner made a comment about the trouble with Muslims, and he says right there, and then he says that our president is a Muslim, and you took heat because you didn't defend the president of the United States.
Well, I actually took heat, and it was very interesting because I didn't say anything. The only time I've ever been in trouble, Steve, for not saying anything, okay? And I said, I can't believe it. I have a problem because I didn't. And I'm saying that I have no obligation, moral or otherwise, to defend the president. I mean, I'm not supposed to speak up. Last night, they took some pretty vicious shots at me during the Emmy Awards. I don't think I'm going to see President Obama come to my defense. Okay?
Yeah, you're probably right. Can I ask you a question? Regarding that question, you know, shortly after Joe the Plumber asked that question of Barack Obama, everybody in the world knew who Joe the Plumber was,
right.
and they went completely through his background. Some people, I'm reading online, think that that guy may have been a plant to ask that question because then he just got the heck out of there. Do you know anything about that guy?
No, I don't. He had a Trump beautiful shirt on, which shows that he's a fan. And, you know, when he was asking that question, by the way, a lot of the people in the audience were nodding. They were not laughing at him or anything. They were nodding. But I don't think he was a plant. You know, I mean, certainly not from our standpoint. That would not be the question. In fact, when that question was asked, I said, oh, boy, this could only happen to me, right? I knew that question was going to be a slightly controversial one. But, no, I think he was a hard-working guy from the area, and he had this on his mind.
Okay. So what do you think about this? It was 100 degrees out at the Emmys, 106 under some of the interview tenting that was going on. The only thing hotter than that at the Emmys was you. Watch this montage of the celebrities just having a Donald Trump fest.
Donald Trump, of course, is running for president, to the delight of uncles everywhere. But I've got to say, sure, Donald Trump seems racist. What else?
What a great honor it must be for you to honor me tonight. Oh, no, I'm so sorry. Oh, Donald Trump said that. I'm sorry.
There is one category of television that allows us as a society to sit back and enjoy the simple spectacle of reality. A reality where a panel of millionaires fight like sharks to be chosen by average middle-class Americans. But enough about the Republican national debate. Let's get to the award.
Okay, so Donald Trump, do you think the President of the United States is going to stand up and defend your character after Hollywood let you have it last night?
Well, I'm sure he will. I have absolutely no doubt in my mind.
Does it bother you?
No, it doesn't bother me. I was watching, actually, and I saw it. I said, wow. No, it's a badge of courage. It's a badge of honor. It was sort of amazing when you think of it. You're watching television, you're watching the Emmys, and your name's mentioned by
I didn't notice any Hillary jokes.
Right.
No, there was no Hillary joke. And you ought to look at what she said about President Obama in 2008. Believe me, what I said is nothing. Take a look at what Hillary said in 2008 when she was running against him.
Regarding what?
Well, about where he came from and his whole status. You know, Hillary was one of the first, maybe the first, to bring it up. And I think people should start. They should go back and they should look at Hillary's relationship to Obama when they were running against each other.
So you're saying it started,
surprised.
you're saying the whole birther thing started with Hillary?
Well, you take a look. I mean, go back and look. And people don't know that, and people don't talk about it. Actually, people do know about it, but they don't talk about it.
Absolutely.
So I think they should go back and look at it.
Her campaign helped create the idea that Barack Obama was a Muslim and was born in Kenya. That idea
is correct. That's
that
where
idea
it began.
came from Hillary's camp.
That's
Absolutely
where it
right.
began. Absolutely right.
And now she's upset that you said what you said last week.
I know she gets so upset. You know, I mean, this is a person that I don't know if she's going to make it or not. It looks like she probably will get by the email scandal because nobody's going to do anything about it. But what she did is disgraceful. And what happened to General Petraeus for doing much less, and he was destroyed. I mean, the whole situation is a disgrace to the country.
Donald Trump, thanks so much.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay.